Hi, this is a video about LTV, but it's not about the mechanics of LTV. I discussed that in another video that I published called What is LTV? This is kind of a sequel to that. So if you haven't watched that, I would watch that first before watching this. This is about how to use LTV in cash flow scheduling for your business. So this is more about the strategic usage of LTV rather than the definition of LTV and how to calculate it. So where are we at as a company? So let's say that we've just hired a data scientist to help us calculate LTV, and we've given him a bunch of data from this one channel that we call quality traffic channel because we think we're getting like pretty quality traffic from it. And the data scientist is amazing. He's going to produce us a very robust and sort of actionable and trustworthy model. And he comes back and he says, hey, I calculated your LTV for day 365 to be $2.46. And so I don't really understand what that means. And so he explains it further and he says, that means the average user acquired from this channel would be expected to have contributed $2.46 to the app in revenues by day 365. So not on day 365. They won't spend that much on day 365 exactly. But by day 365, the total amount of money they would have spent in the app is $2.46 based on this model. And I say that's really great because my traffic acquisition costs on this channel are on average $2. I'm spending $2,000 a day on this channel, and every day I'm getting 1,000 users from it. 1,000 users are converting and coming into my app. So that's a $2 CPI, and so that's much less than the expected LTV at day 365. I'm getting a 23% return on investment by day 365 for the users that I acquire from this channel. And my boss says, hey, that's amazing. I believe that this channel is endlessly scalable. So if we spend much more money every day acquiring users, our cost per install won't go up. So what I want you to do is instead of spending $2,000 a day, start spending $200,000 a day. And that's problematic because that $2,000 a day we can finance basically from our operating cash flows. We're making more than $2,000 a day, and so we can take that $2,000 a day that we're making and we can funnel that back into UA, and we're still making some money every day above and beyond what we're spending every day. So we've got money to work with to pay the other bills and also just to operate functionally as a business. But we don't have $200,000 a day that we can just throw into UA that come from cash flows, that come from operating cash flows. So we'd have to go into our bank account. We'd have to go into our savings account and fund this UA, and which we should do. I mean, we found a channel that is scalable and profitable. We should throw money at it as much as we can, but we need to figure out how much money can we throw at it without depleting our bank account and bankrupting ourselves, right? Because if we do this for 5 days at $200,000 a day, we've spent $1 million, and we'll have made some money back from those cohorts that we acquired. I mean, we can see that money is made every day, but not anywhere close to the million that we spent. We don't recoup our spend on this in this model until about day 110. So we don't make $2 cumulatively from this channel until day 110. So in the first 5 days, we won't have made very much at all. So we basically need $1 million in the bank to fund a 5-day acquisition campaign on this channel at $200,000 a day. So now we need to take a step back and say, okay, well, $200,000 a day is probably unrealistic. We don't have $1 million in the bank, or we don't want to sort of jeopardize $1 million. So how much can we spend? And I wrote an article about this about a year ago, which I think is worth reading because it kind of goes into this dynamic a little bit more. Because the problem is not the one cohort that we spend $200,000 a day and we have to wait 110 days to recoup it. The problem is if we start doing this every day, right? These cash flows on a day-to-day basis. So on any given day, the cash flow I'm making is the difference between the day before and that day, right? So it's not that much. And so what we need to do is we need to make sure, and if we don't want to, if we can't finance this endlessly from our balance sheet because we've got sort of finite money there. We need to at some point finance this from operating cash flows. And so what we need to do is we need to figure out when do the operating cash flows, if we stack these LTV curves on top of each other for each cohort, right? So we've got another LTV curve here and another one here and another one here. These stack up over how many months or whatever. At what point do the operating cash flows from this channel outweigh that $200,000 a day that we're spending for new cohorts every day? And that's the important thing to figure out. And so we kind of have to balance that desire to endlessly exploit profitable channels with our ability to finance upfront losses on traffic acquisition.